Alhamdulillah, we are live. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum everyone. Our engineer series 2020, a collaboration with Young Janzari Engineer Network, GEN, Tertiary Career Conference, TCC, Association of Muslim Professional AMP. So we are honored today to have Mr. Yahya with our engineer series, or what we call Engineer Hope. So a little bit background for Mr. Yahya. He joined Shell Eastern Petroleum Pulau Bukom Refinery as a mechanical technician in mid-1980 and retired in April 2020. His last position was mechanical trainer since 3 years ago. Before that, he was a rotating equipment engineer for some 26 years. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So your main task was to ensure trouble-free operation of the refinery production machineries and advise support to the maintenance and operation department. And you also do failure analysis and diagnostic among the department specialty. And you also involved with modification and project development of the machinery and plant equipment.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So maybe you would like to share yourself, your time as a trainer and also your time as an engineer.
Okay, the recent one as a trainer actually just to, because in our refinery back then we have a training department, but then it was disbanded for some time back. Then they say they start recruiting people and they see the need to have a framework how to improve or how to make sure they have attained some competency level, every stage of their way. So they restart this training department. So I was supposed to take charge of the training of the mechanical technician. So we set up a framework so that they can develop their competency. So that's about it. We never do any face-to-face training or face-to-face learning. The only thing is, as and when they need, then they can always push me for guidance. So prior to that, the main bulk of my time I spent as a rotating equipment engineer. So that's, to me, it's very interesting because when you deal with machinery, just like a doctor, but instead of human, you are a machine. So you hear the machine running, you hear the machine screaming, then you listen to the bearing, listen to whatever, then look at the status of the machine, the flow, the temperature, the pressure, whatever it is, and that's where you understand the machine well, and you can diagnose for any immediate failure.
Okay, that's
so. But then, before that, I was, when we were back then in the early 70s, the government was really trying to go into industrialization, right? And then they need a lot of technicians or a lot of technical people. So they set up all this technical school. So that was the in thing back then. Everyone wanted to go to technical school. So they pick all those good students, cream of the people, and put into technical school. So nowadays it's different, right? Technical stream is not so good in academic. So back then, when we joined technical school, so obviously we know that is our career path. That is the future, is the technical line or engineering line. So naturally, after school, then you go to ITE or Polytechnic. So then from there you get your basic qualification as a technician and start serving the industry. So the oil and gas back then was only a few companies like BP, Esso, Shell, and then of course everyone in this who are involved in plant operation or who like to do plant work, they will eye for this oil and gas because that's where the money is, so to say, because you have good benefit and good pay, good bonuses. So of course I was lucky, alhamdulillah, based on my background. Before I joined Shell, I was in the first refinery, the first incinerator plant. There was a commission in the 70s, 78. So from there, I got some experience of plant operation. So with that experience, I gained entry into Shell. So we work as a maintenance technician in mechanical field. So that's where we start repairing the machineries or the plant equipment. Then further down the line, I have interest in this machinery work because I find that interesting to repair pump, to look at compressor, the turbine. So that's where they channel me into this rotating equipment field. So I got my promotion as a rotating engineer since 1990. So I work until I almost retire. In fact, I wanted to retire already, but then since they said they need to have this training set up, so then I joined training. So all in all, it's about 40 years in this life.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's a good story. So basically, I'm also as an engineer. So I'm working in the aviation company, which doing machinery also. So basically, we remove the components from the aircraft, then we machine it back to its original state, or we improve it.
To refurbish and restore
the equipment. So by saying that, how do you maintain the equipment? Because for our side, we have this thing called TPM, total preventive maintenance, and also we forecast when does the machine going to fail, because it will affect our production line. So
yes.
For yourself, how do you do oil and gas industry have this program where they forecast whether the machine will break down soon, or they carry out this preventive maintenance?
Okay, normally you have a standard preventive maintenance schedule. So that one is inbuilt into the maintenance system. So we have the this will kick in every scheduled time, a year, annually, or periodically. So that is a fixed mandatory program. So that is simple preventive maintenance like oil change, cleaning of internal, whatever it is, or overhaul. Then the day-to-day diagnosis or day-to-day analysis is where a team will go down to the plant and start taking up or picking up this acquire some vibration data on all these running machines. So from there, we put into our database, and at the end of the day, when all the data is uploaded into the database, then we can start analyzing and see if any imminent or any sign of deterioration, any sign of failure. So that's where we can start some requests to have some some repair or some preventive job to be carried out before the machine really break down on us. So it's an ongoing program. So but then there is some turnaround every couple of years or 3 years, 4 years, depend on the performance of the plant. So that's where we also see where is the need to really open up the equipment, especially those big equipment, because it's very expensive. So you need to really properly ascertain whether it is really necessary and how much you need to do the work on the particular equipment. So normally, of course, if you want to do minimum as minimum maximum to ensure that the machine can run until the next overhaul period or turnaround period, which may be 4 years down the road. So whatever decision you make now to do the overhaul in this turnaround will affect the reliability of the machine. So this kind of information or knowledge or whatever data that you require when the plant is running or the machine is running is very important for you to decide on the extent of work involved or required to do on the job on that machinery.
Okay. It's a good experience to hear from your side. So basically, one advice can you give for any aspiring engineers who want to be in this field and any graduates out there who are interested in oil and gas, and
Okay,
also your specific position?
first, actually, you must have passion for the job. You must like the thing that you do. If you don't like it, then you're just dragging your feet. You will not survive because it's so-called something like it's a dry thing. It's a dry subject. When you
Yeah.
talk about machinery vibration, the vibration signature that you collect from the machinery, probably you interpret. So just like when the doctor listening to the patient, right, to the heartbeat, then they can really they can try to diagnose what's wrong with this patient. Same as this machinery specialist, machinery engineer. So you have to understand your machine just like you understand your own friends or your own children. So you must know their background. You must know the how the machine was built, how the machine was operated. So almost every day without fail, you have to look at how the machine behave and how these people operate the plant. So that's where you start start coming in and advise them, telling them, yeah, look, you're doing this not so good. You are doing this a little bit off the windows or operating windows. So that's where your role is very important. And then first, when you have passion of doing this, then you find that it is something like you are looking forward to it every day. Then, but then the problem to have this interest or passion in doing this kind of work is really, I would say, you can you can you can tell or you can, but you can, I would say, make yourself interested in it. Okay. Or because of you're forced into this like certain time when you have no other job to do. The management say, hey, look, this position is nobody like to do this. So that's what happened to me. One of the reason why I was pushed into this position was nobody likes to do this job. They find that this is a little bit too technical and too specialized. So the problem is when you are you're doing something, you are a specialist. There is a certain ceiling for career progression. Because when you are a specialist, just like okay, for an analogy, okay, on board a ship, the engineers were the most intelligent guy in the ship, but who command them is the captain, right? The deck officer. And the deck officer, when it comes to intelligent or when it comes to background, educational background, they are far away from the engineer. So that's the problem when you are doing this kind of work. You must always bear in mind that there is certain price to pay. But then the problem is when you really like the job, when you have passion to do this thing, you will not see this as a something that is something that is not good, right? So the bottom line is risky, put it this way, right? So if you are true to yourself, that is an honest living, then you put your heart and soul in it, knowing that the reward will come from far beyond your daily or your monthly remuneration. This from Allah, He said Himself, when you're happy going to work and happy coming back, then you make the whole life fulfill. So at least after the work, then you can concentrate on your living, on your family and all that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Actually, I also share I can relate some the same with you, Mr. Yahya, because I was actually back when I was a junior engineer, I was not given given a choice to go to basically like some of my friends who are actually working on the aircraft engine itself, or they are actually working in the airport. But for me, I'm straight away being transferred to a machinery department. So
Yeah.
at first I have I have zero knowledge of it, but as time goes by, I put in my passion and I try to understand the machinery, the machine, and also the operators. And as time goes by, alhamdulillah, it gets better, and I'm already 3 years in the company. Yeah. So as you mentioned, everywhere you go, it's rezeki. So the more you put your soul into the work, then as time goes by, you will feel happy, and you don't drag yourself to work every day.
Yeah, true. Because see, when you are good at certain thing, like you really feel proud of yourself. You know, you have that sense. You have your worth. You have your self-worth. You have your value. And then people also looking at you, your company, your management also look at you as is a add value to the business. Then as long as you are truthful to your knowledge, so the way we survive all these years is that when you have doubts, then you have to ask. You don't just bulldoze through. No? Because it's very important that, because this involves life also. No? When the machine fails, right? Especially you in the aircraft industry, right?
Yeah.
When the machine is the machine is up there flying, right? It's very important. So the bottom line is, if you are true to yourself, you true to your word, you know what you can do, what you cannot do. You know your limit. So that's where whatever your weakness is, try to improve as this goes by. So as time goes by, you know that when you know that you know more and more, you feel good for yourself. And to me, that's reward enough.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Okay. So another tip that I want to share with, I want to ask you, because this has been going in the as to the students itself, just themselves. So I'm not sure about oil and gas, but for aviation, they actually, some of the graduates, they gotten their degree or diploma, then they want to start as an engineer, but because of maybe unforeseen circumstances, or for example like COVID-19, they are offered being a technician instead. So like yourself, you start off as a technician. So how do you give the advice to these students or graduates that they thought that as they didn't make it as an engineer, but they have to start off as a technician and they find themselves as a failure. So what advice can you give them?
Okay, let me give an example of what happened in Kuala Lumpur. We have, when we start recruiting people, we start taking experienced hirer. And then a lot of them, as you know, it's all foreigners, majority foreigners. And these foreigners, their attitude was, as long as they can come to Singapore and find any job. They don't care whatever job, as a stepping stone. From there, they have their network. There they have that experience that they work doing this kind of thing. And that's where they can sell themselves off. The same thing as when you are offered something that is not relevant to your qualification. Then you have to take it as a challenge. And this is only a stepping stone. You just take it first, right? And then learn your trade, learn the job, and prove to yourself, prove to the people, or prove to yourself that you can do it. You are adaptable, and then you have a good learning curve. So that's where, when you are there, you are already in the system. Then people see you, then you show your performance, you perform well. Then that's where they will not hesitate to push you up. So that's where they measure the people or your output, not your people up front. So that helps in the first place. There's plenty of vacancy. But then when this kind of situation nowadays, then probably as long as you have some meaningful job, that is, you know that this kind of job is a the path to this career progression is there, it's well proven. So let's say you join as a technician. So if you have that intelligence, that knowledge, because when you go through university, you have a good learning curve. So for you to adapt to a new environment is easy. To learn new things is easy because you have the capacity. So you give yourself 3 years. That's where you can prove your work. Not 1 year to me is too early. But then if you have your luck, your skill, if it's destined for you, then you get that promotion. But if you give yourself 3 years, you learn the trade, you learn the trick of the trade, then inshallah you can progress. Or you take it as a stepping stone, and when there's opportunity outside that is relevant to your experience, your exposure, then you can always join that. You can leave this company and then the other company. So nowadays you have this like LinkedIn, right? When you are you have your LinkedIn account, right? So there's always this opportunity when they look at this guy. Probably like as a rotating equipment engineer, every day there are few opportunity or few offer in the LinkedIn. So it's just a matter of, because then you know that, hey, they're really short of this kind of people. They're really short of engineers. Actually, in the world nowadays, engineers are in demand. Although they say it's not so glamorous as it used to be before. Right? So as long as you are, let's say you are stuck into engineering line, because when you study engineering, all that. But then it's not too late to switch your line because you're still young. Right? Yeah. But then, to me, if you are in engineering, any kind of engineering, is always a better bet. Because the career path of engineers is always there. Is assured, I would say. There's always demand for machinery engineer, demand for structural engineer, demand for, because as long as there are people are alive, right? Equipment or infrastructure need to be developed. There's always a need for engineers. So you don't need to, I would say, have this. You must have the ambition, of course, but bottom line is this is rezeki. If you really bertakwa pada Allah, you know that all this rezeki is from Allah. You trust in Allah. So you know that whatever you are offered now, whatever is in front of you now, is for a reason. This is all what Allah destined for you. So just take it, and you take it slowly, one step at a time, slowly. And then from there, if really is destined for you, you bertakwa. You know that, the surah 1000 dinar kan. People say surah At-Talaq kan.
Yeah.
So that is a good thing that you can fall on whenever you are in this kind of dilemma. Because man yattaqillah yaj'alhu makhraja wa yarzuqu ma la tahsib. There's something like that. That means if you are really have faith in Allah, Allah will give you a way out from whichever direction that you did not suspect, you don't expect. Right. So I always tell my son also, just grab whatever it is and make yourself worth the while rather than wait.
Yeah.
So from there, where you can have network, and you do your stuff, you start doing things. That's where you can develop. You can have experience, and you can your net value will go up slowly. Okay, imagine if you, while waiting for the job that you aspire, you drive Grab. I'm not looking on Grab driver, but there's the whole business know that the experience you have driving Grab is no value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but if you do a technician job, a manual job, every day that you start to attend something, start to doing something, that's where you start bringing up or start improving yourself, start having more knowledge. Right.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So I hope the viewers out there take some insights from Mr. Yahya. Okay, so there will be a last question before we ask the viewers if there's any more question. But before that, so doing this post-COVID-19 prospect, how to remain relevant in this period of time? What are the skills that they can apply to the workplace, or skills that they can use to go to other industry or oil and gas itself? Like, what is the main skill as a engineer? Like, it's transferable without or with COVID-19 situation or any other situation in the future. So it's like a foolproof skill set that they can attain.
Oh, okay. Basically, I mean, back then in technical school, they teach you how to do some fitting, manual work, so how to hold hammer, how to hold spada.
Yeah.
So that's the basic. And so, of course, being good with your hand really carry a lot of weight. Because ultimately, engineer must know how to work with their hand. And then knowledge of all the how things work, right? That is very important. You can apply to anywhere. So normally, like when you see the handphone that we use, right? People just take it as a tool, right, for you to communicate on that. But do you know how the handphone works, like, the background? Right? So that kind of curiosity, that kind of is where it is very important for engineer. So these are all the traits that engineer need. That means very inquisitive. And then when you start opening up things, you break down things, no problem. So that's where your curiosity will add to your knowledge. So let's say if you're talking about switching career, you are from something else, you want to do engineering things, right? Then of course you have to prove yourself. To prove is, I mean, you have to do some engineering work itself. But that is where the problem is. So you really have to stoop very low and start joining the contractor. Like, because a lot of these foreign workers, before they came to Shell, they were working with a contractor that deal with oil and gas. So they worked there. I know one guy who was from the contractor. He worked for 2, 3, or 4 years. When he came to Bukom as a contractor, one of the Shell technicians like tell him off, screw him. Then few years later, he came back again, become his boss. So that shows that whatever knowledge, whatever work that he did with the contractor really counts. So when he applied for the job as an engineer in Shell, he got it. And then after 3, 4 years, he became the manager, and he's the one managing this guy now. So you just think of long term. It's not a short term kind of thing. When you think long term, then you take small step. You don't expect a quick reward.
Okay, that's a very good insight from Mr. Yahya, alhamdulillah. So I hope the viewers out there will get some knowledge of what to expect during this COVID-19 situation. And yes, it's actually a tough situation for graduates, for students there. So basically, as an engineer, other than technical skill, what other skills that you need to have? Basically, like soft skill. Do you need to have a negotiation skill, or do you need...
Oh yeah, I think the most important one is the communication skill. How you communicate. So you must be humble enough to communicate with all levels, from the very bottom and right to the very top. So the communication skill is very important. how to improve your communication skill is by mixing with people. Kata orang tu muka tebal lah. Start talking to people and all that. And other soft skill, I think as a Muslim, we are well guided. So if you really follow the whatever prescribed in the Quran and in the Sunnah, there you become a very good person, right? And that's where you will be always grounded to the reality of life. So whatever you do in this present life, is you know that it's only temporary, right? So you don't live for the day, right? You always look for your ultimate end, ultimate life. So whatever that you do, the daily thing, you must always be well grounded. I know that this is something that you are trusted upon and trusted to live your life here for the benefit of the hereafter. So as a Muslim, back then when we were young, we don't think that way. We would think of how to get as much money as possible to enjoy life, and to maybe later build your family, all that. But I guess at this age, when I were to look back, I think I can do better if you were to live your life again. Then I would put like more emphasis on being a good person first, in accordance with whatever the religions prescribe upon you. Then whatever your endeavor in the daily life, in your career, will fall into place nicely. You don't have to struggle that much, because you know that everything is all destined for you. All you need to do is just put up your effort through the best of your knowledge and to the best of your ability, and have faith and believe and trust in Allah. So that is, if I were to live my life again, because now when I already retired and everything, then I know that there are better things I can do when I was younger. Because back then, a lot of the path is already determined by the country, right? The nation already once said they want a lot of engineers and technicians, right? So you are channeled into that. But then there was not much emphasis on how to be a good people, a good man, or a good Muslim. Back then, the society was not that, I would say, conscious, got conscious as now. So now I guess the younger people are lucky, because when you look around you, there's plenty of wars around. It's easy for you to gain with all this internet and communication, right? It's easy for you to understand your religion better. So to me, if you put a lot of emphasis, a lot of effort in being a good Muslim, then everything in this life will fall into place very nicely. Right? Because if I were to quote Surah Al-Qasas, verse 77, which Allah said, meaning you have to struggle for your hereafter, but at the same time, don't forget about your life here. So that means, you see, the attitude is that you have to struggle for your akhirah. That's where your emphasis is. And then, at the same time, you don't forget about your life here. So imagine how much emphasis you put into the hereafter, and whatever that is in this life. So you just put your normal or your best effort. But bearing in mind that, hey, the ultimate is the akhirah. So I guess a lot of ulama say that, or rather Rasulullah said, the meaning is that if you carry yourself to Allah, everything, the world will just follow you. If you do the other round, you try to chase after the world, then you be the loser. You may not gain the world, and Allah may not help you. Put it that way. So as any aspect, I mean, any career, whether it's engineers or doctors or lawyer or whatever it is, right? So I guess the basic characteristic is, as a Muslim, we are lucky, we are born into Islam. Or if you are not Muslim, right, then you start learning about Islam, and you know that is uh, the best thing in life, right, in this world and thereafter.
Okay. So we like to end the live stream, but before that, what is the final advice that you can give to the viewers out there? Maybe a quote that you can give for the viewers that you hold dearly. Like, is there any quote or any final advice for the viewers?
I guess as I put it in my email, I think that was the thing, and what I said earlier. So have faith and trust in Allah in anything that you do, because it's all predestined. And then even though it's predestined, right, but you can always change the destiny by asking Allah to change for you. So now, let's say you want to change career, right? Then you ask Allah to guide you to do this. Then of course, for us Muslim, right, you go and pray istikhara, ask for guidance, right? So that is the bottom line. So be in this life, we were born in this world is to worship Allah alone, right? So I guess at this age I can say this. But when I was younger, I don't have the benefit or the wisdom to say this kind of thing. Right. So I guess maybe when I was young, somebody old tell me this also, I may not really take it wholeheartedly. Okay. But then after going through this life, and with children in tow, with mortgage to pay, and everything is almost settled, then you realize that, yeah, if you want to live your life again, you have to put priority in Allah first. That's about it, I would say.
Yeah, actually, I can relate that because like some of my superiors or even some who is working with me who works for maybe 40 years and 40 to 30 years, then he advised me. He say if you want to know knowledge, you do not need to wait for 30 to 40 years, then only you know it. Because you can actually tap to some of the senior people out there, and they actually can share you whatever they have in terms of Ukhrawi or for the day after.
Yeah, true. But that's why the best person to turn to your father, if you still have a father. Because the father is the one who really interested in you, right? And if no father, we want to see the son as a failure, right? Fail in life, right? Every father wants their son to be successful. So of course, then you turn to people who have the wisdom to really sincerely advise you. So I guess at this age now, this is the least I can do to the younger Muslim, to the younger people that I care, right? So don't do the mistake that we did when we were younger. Back then in the 70s, people were always busy about rock, about underground music, about the 60s worse. 60s, the pop culture, the pop it was worse. You can see a lot of people in the 60s was a generation, a failed generation. Right, 70 has slightly improved. Imagine in 70s, there's only 2% of the Malay go to university, and 7% go to the Polytechnic or the JC. So I guess presently there are more, right? More Malay go to the higher education. So that shows we are improving slowly. But if you were to just concentrate on the worldly thing, you may lose certain thing. Right? So that's where this kind of nobody no community leader will tell you about this thing, because they have their own interest, right? They want everyone to serve the nation through what they want. This social engineering, right? They want you to behave this way. Even like you see Malaysia, so they make a big mistake. They only concentrate on the worldly thing. So when it comes to to the hereafter, they don't put so much emphasis. So for us, as a person, person to person, I guess we can take it upon ourselves that as a person, that is your main struggle to be a good Muslim.
Okay. So I guess there's no other question from the viewers. We'd like to end the session now. So thank you for the time for Mr. Yahya. I hope the viewers out there will get a very meaningful insight from this session. So thank you once again, Mr. Yahya.
Yeah, so thank you for giving an opportunity to say.
Okay.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.